Well, everybody, it's your boy JR Reviews back with another video. Here to do another TV show review, which I haven't done in a long time actually, if you remember correctly. I think the last one I did was I don't actually remember the last one I did. The TV show review I'm reviewing today is actually a British show. I don't do that many of those on here. And if you're going to ask me if do I like Doctor Who, particularly, no I don't. For some reason, never got good to get into it. So, sorry to all your Doctor Who fans. I'm not a Doctor Who fan. I barely know. I know about the TARDIS. I know about... The thing is, I can't get behind something that has, like, 30,000 different Doctor Who's. Like, for God's sake, just pick one. Like, I understand the show's from the 60s, but, like, I understand you need to have different ones because they age. But, like, pick one and stick with it. Again, I understand the idea that there's multiple universes, multiple time zones, and all that, like, all that type of stuff that, like, that had their own doctors. But, like, you gotta pick one and stick with it. I'm sorry. I'm being serious now. That's what I'm going to say. On that side note. Anyways, the show I'm going to be reviewing today is called Horrible Histories. Now, if you don't know about me, I'm a huge history fan. I love history. I love just anything about history. I eat it up. Particularly, I'm a big fan of the Renaissance era. I really like pirates. So, like, pirate history, all that. And 1800s. I also like basically any new history I really like. But this series is basically you learn history through skits and stuff, and they had all these different ways to learn history. And one of my favorite segments, there was a few segments now. My favorite historical figure that we get to see a lot is the Queens and Kings of England, and they don't just focus on England; they focus on America a few times. I think they talk about those parts once or twice. They talked about the World War II. My favorite era they talked about would be the Stuart era, which is during the era of James, which is when King James the First started. Was the king, or was he? Is he something? So yeah, King James the First until I don't know what the last one was, but Charles II was in that era, and Charles the First as well, and Oliver Cromwell. But anyways, what was I thinking again? Fuck. And then there was the Rotten Romans, which we learn a lot about Roman history and learn about fun ways. Terrible Tudors, which is about the Tudor dynasty of England, which my favorite king, King Henry VIII, we get to learn about. And I also get to add another favorite king to my king list, King Charles II. And they also don't just do skits. They do funny skits that have to do with commercials, like branding commercials. They did this one like Sponge on the Stick, which is how they used to wipe their ass in Roman times with a sponge and a stick. I'm not joking. It's a literal way they used to wipe their ass. Shampoo, which was, I think it was in Aztecs, which was basically you pee in a bucket, and you collect pee and ferment, and then you wash your hair with pee. I'm not shitting you. I'm not shitting you, literally. They also sang made rock songs or rap songs about different people. For example, one of my favorite songs they did was about... They did a few. They did one for the Spartans, the Spartan high school musical thing. But, like, the thing about Spartan high school, like, there's no class system in Spartan high school. You have your cliques, you have your jocks, you have your nerds. No, you have one clique in Spartan high school musical, and that's your jocks, because everyone's either a jock or you're not fit to be a Spartan person, and you get left outside of the mountain by that time. Anyways, it's a good song. I also learned history in that song. Another good song was Boudica, which is learned about the queen of the Celts, was it? I think Celts or Druids. It was the Druids, I believe. One of the two, who refused to bow down to the Roman Empire and tried to fought them for years and was finally defeated. But I forgot who defeated her, but was defeated. Then there is a song about the Borgias, which is actually the only pope I really like. Because, no offense, but, like, popes are popes, and I like... Don't get me wrong, the popes are awesome, okay? No problem with that. But there's only one pope that it's ever been like, fuck this, fuck everything. I'm going to do what I want, when I want, the way I want. And that's Pope Alexander VI, or otherwise known as Rodrigo Borgia, and his entire family. Literally made being a pope the coolest job you could ever think of in that point. Like, he threw sex parties. He did a bunch of shit. It was, like, so, like, dude, it was so fun. Like, he really did not care one bit. And also, he was basically not even Christian. He was also not even Italian. He was Spanish and Jewish. So, anyways, and no, it's not really why I like him just because he was Jewish, but also because he was just like, fuck everything. And he did convert to Christianity too, so. But he originally was Jewish. Anyways, also the way he became Pope was hilarious too. Like, he just was basically tired of everything, and he was a cardinal at the time, so you know what? Here's some money. Here's some money. What's the money for? Make me Pope. Make me Pope. Make me Pope. He basically bribed all the cardinals in the papacy, and they're like, when they're deciding for the next Pope, you know, this guy did give us a lot of money. Oh, yeah, fuck him. Let's make him Pope, right? And if you disagree with him, you'd be like, what was that again? They would have a little knife to him, like, no, you're right, make him Pope. He was also his son, Cesare Borgia, Cesare, which is also a big no-no because you're not supposed to have kids if you're the Pope. Because everyone's your child, and supposedly, because, you know, you're the ultimate father of fathers besides God being, like, the ultimate, yeah. His dad was, becomes the subject of basically one of the greatest texts ever by Niccolo Machiavelli, which is the Machiavelli is The Prince, which the book is basically about the struggle of which would you rather be, a leader that is beloved by everyone but doesn't get shit done, and leaves yourself open to even getting betrayed, or a leader that's feared by everyone and get shit but does get shit done. And sometimes may I leave you a possibility of betrayal, but more people will be afraid of you to betray you. I forgot what it was, but there was one guy at Cesare's camp who refused. I forgot what he did, but he basically executed him for something so menial. It was not even funny. I think it was waking him on a Sunday morning. I forgot what it was, but it was some bullshit. Anyways, back to this thing is, and then they did a bunch of other things. They did, my favorite segment though, besides all that, was something called Stupid Deaths, and it was a guy played the Grim Reaper, and it whatever time period they were on at that time, like it'd be horrible, like Rotten Romans, Savage Stone Age. Yes, they even did the Stone Age. 1 second, guys. I gotta exit that real quick. Savage Stone Age, or what's the other one? Oh, fuck. Savage Stone Age, or Woeful Second World War, or something First World War. They would do a Stupid Deaths, which is basically someone comes to the Grim Reaper and he's like, stupid deaths, whatever. Hope next time it's not you. And then they're sad, but they're funny because they're true. And they come up a guy with it. Oh, fuck, I'm just gonna turn this off 1 second. Finally, thank God. Sorry about that, guys. Facebook Messenger. Anyways, where was I at? So he was like, one person would come up and be like, all fucked up in some way. Like, for one example, it was a guy with a sword sticking out of his ass. Was it a sword or a spear? I think it was a sword sticking out of his ass. And he asked what happened to him. I think it was around the Viking era or something like that shit. And they were talking. He's like, well, here's what happened. I was leading an army. I'm a king. And while I was on the battlefield, I had to take a shit. So there was a convenient place hole right there to take a shit in. Being over, pulled my pants down, about to take a shit, And what I did not know was there was a Viking sitting in the hole, and he thrust his sword into my ass and killed me. So basically, he got stabbed through the butt, and that's how he died, while taking a shit. So, stupid death, right? Another one would have been, another funny one was, what's it called? One guy died of being a rock thrown on his... Oh, yeah. So, he was walking in the Greek... Or no, he was walking in the... He was a Greek guy. He had a shaved bald head at some point, right here. And while he was walking, a bird had picked up a turtle and it was trying to crack its shell. So what is an actual true story too, obviously. And mistook the guy's half bald head for a rock, so it dropped the turtle onto his head, basically crushing his skull, breaking his head, and killing him. Obviously, that bird must have had an incredible aim to do so, because for God's sakes, I mean, for one thing, humans are not in always stop in motion unless they're sitting down. So unless he was sitting down when it happened, even then, they went through a lot of them. They even did Richard the Lionheart's death, which was so funny because he died because he was laying siege to a place in Paris or in France, and he got killed by a kid with a crossbow. Was it a crossbow? I think it was a crossbow. And his orders were to give the kid, after he was dying in one of his army's hands. He's also the King of England, by the way. So, even though he didn't really like to stay in the country he lived in, he told his men to not kill the kid because he had took down Richard the Lionheart, and he deserves to free. Then he goes into the afterlife, and then the kid comes in with bows and arrows sticking out of over him. He's like, I'm guessing, and then the governor is like, I'm guessing King Richard's men weren't so forgiving, were they? The kid just shook his head, no. It's a real funny show. I honestly, if you have Amazon Prime, which I watched it on there, you have all 6 seasons on there. Definitely recommend go watching it. Yeah, definitely recommend watching it. I was just make sure there were 6 seasons or not. Amazing series. Yes, they speak British English or the King's English, but it's really funny. Some of the skits might sound childish, but they're actually like really funny, and sometimes they have to get sex involved and all that. It's one of them was a funny one was historical wife swapping, which was like so funny. Because sometimes they was like wife swap with people that weren't like from lower classes. So like I remember one time a peasant, a slave, with like a Roman emperor or something like that shit. It was like amazing. Or like a slave from being traded with the Egyptians, with the pharaoh of Egypt's wife, which is surprising because he had like 6 fucking wives and like 4 girlfriends, and like that's like almost every freaking pharaoh ever, and like 72 concubines, whatever. So like this dude had a full-on harem, and like this one dude's like, I only got the one wife, bro. So that's it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. And definitely go watch this series. It's called Horrible Histories, and it's on Amazon Prime. Bye, everybody.